children there were singing and dancing, all right, to lyrics of a song that they had no business listening to. None, not a single thing. They didn't need to be listening to those things. But yet, those things, those songs were on mainstream media. People were listening to it. The children were listening to it. They knew the lyrics more than the parents. Some of the parents even know what the children were singing to. They didn't know. And in some cases, maybe they didn't care. So, is it on the entertainers, on the creatives? I'm calling them creatives this morning. Is it now the creatives' responsibility to be more family oriented? That's my question. Do you think creatives, so whether they are musicians, whether they're actors, some people criticize an actor. Oh, I remember, yes, this was a thing back in those days in Nigeria. Oh, you know that you are a role model. You know, we don't, and they usually, I don't know why they never pointed the fingers at the male actors, but they always, and I mean always, will point the finger at the female actors. Oh, you're a role model. In your movie, don't be dressing like this. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Maybe it's because of the space we are in right now. I've interviewed, some actors, some would-be musicians, some musicians, female musicians, and some of them, we exchange conversations, on Instagram and whatnot. And they get to tell you sometimes they get to the international airport, right? MM1, right? And they're coming down. And then somebody recognizes that, oh, see this actress, how nice you did. See that your movie here is not good. How will you be wearing that kind of short dress? And she's like, apart from the fact that it was a movie and I was actually making the representation of what is happening in society, it is not your business. That movie was rated. It was rated for 16 and above. Was your child up to 16 when your child watched that movie? If not, the problem is with you. But once again, let's go back to the question. Do you think creatives, whether they are musicians, whether they're actors, whether they're writers, whether they're publishers, whether they're dancers, do you think they, or like the American rapper now has cuss words, the end of story? So what is it that a 15-year-old still who to listen to rap in the 80s and early 2000s saw listen to songs when they sing?
Views and opinions shared on this program and on
Alright, keep your conversation levels to 723 at Nigeriainfo PH at Nigeriainfo PH and on X at Nigeriainfo PH at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook.
Your children are watching more. And then they go to and I won't go anywhere. I just maybe watch them. But if not, if they're in the house, I don't come to Nollywood. I don't. They don't even know the names of the Nollywood. So when we say that we should watch movies and listen to music with people, that they don't care about all this. That's sad.
It's sad because they are niche materials. Take for example, there are teachers who are great at teaching primary school and crèche and secondary schools, and there are people who are very good at only teaching graduate school students. They can't do secondary school. So if the artist is telling you, the actor is telling you, oh, I like acting on bombs, or I like the albums, is it his fault that your child got exposed to it?
Dude, with what is happening in society now, artists should help to try to how do I say and obtain an actor. There are two artists, they ask whether they act, they should be honest. Some of them if you don't show them, they are trying to show them. So I think we should all join hands in trying to fix the society. Both with the actors, and everybody.
Okay.
They should not say they want to do this because they have liberty to do it. Tomorrow you have children. Your children will look up to you. the now, think of the future. When you try to model other people, and know that the children will come up to see your movies later on, 20 years time. So instead you don't want to contribute in and try to fix the society. What are they telling us? To try as much as we're trying. Because these are the children, they look up to them, sometimes people want to know. They want to see their movies, they want to listen to their music, and they want to watch the things. You cannot even watch the things of Davido. You cannot. You cannot listen to it. Don't watch the movie. They are just new. They are just
okay.
This is so wrong, dude.
It's wrong. Mira says it's wrong. Ibiso is in Audley Road. Ibiso, good morning to you, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let's go back to the memory lane. Like when I was younger, my dad to take me to August Nest, to coaching, and so on, you know. And you know what the funny part? That time when they are playing the music, they play this turntable that you just bring out the tape from the round on this big tape, and put it on top. I am not using this or your boyfriend, all the kind of music in those days. That's late 70s, early 80s. You know? It's a nice memory days. You know, and I can't dance with my father again because it's late.
Sorry to hear that.
You know, it's a good experience.
Well, but you know it's a good experience. But should they be making music or all their content because children could listen to it, or should they just make whatever they want to make?
The thing is, you know, I'm from Calabar, and if you listen to the it's happening today. So to me, that is most of their message is just about good messages to people to learn.
Okay. All right. Mr. says, well, those days they used to make music so that people would learn. So, the rap that we used to listen to back in 2010, 2011, back then there was a big argument, East Coast versus West Coast, hardcore rap. You have people who were country musicians. And some of the songs, some of the lyrics were, if we're honest, explicit. Some were suggestive. Some were so overt that you didn't even know that they were talking about something unless somebody explained it to you. So if the artist decides to express their talent in that way, must they meet everybody fall under their watch? Or they just art for art's sake. They make the art as they deem or see fit. And that's why you have regulatory boards. But some parents are saying that no, look, let's be honest, right? You are a role model. My son, my daughter looks up to you. And so if we see you portraying a certain lifestyle that one is probably, unrealistic, what doesn't give value for the education that we're trying to get passed on to a child or children, you may just be influencing our child negatively. We implore you to be more understanding so you can make your content that our sons and daughters are going to consume. You should make it more family centered. Yes, pass good messages. And the rapper in America is saying, nope, that's BS. My content is for adults. But the parents are saying, but it is being marketed to us and our family. I go onto the streaming platform. Your song is there. My son wants to dance to it. My daughter knows the lyrics. There are lots of curse words in your songs. Once again, I take you back to the late 90s and early 2000s when the rap game was probably at its peak. Hip hop was taking over. No, correction. Had taken over the airwaves. WhatsApp 00903064416. Now, this was from Anonymous here. It says, I have had to take a break from PR people and others who try to market me as what I am definitely not, because they want me to be more politically correct and appeal to a religious audience, which is wild because my creative work reflects how I really think and speak in real life. I always say, I write for 18 plus, yet some parents still move mad. It is always the weak, irresponsible people who cannot control their own minor children living in their own homes who try to control adult female celebrities, saying, oh, you are a role model. I have said this multiple times. The only people with any right to expect or demand role model behavior from me are, number one, my children, number two, my husband, because he's their father and I made a conscious decision to procreate with him. Every other person should go and drink water. We'll be back after the headline news.
Headline news, Nigeriainfo on
92.3.
Headline news.
Headline news, 90.3 Nigeriainfo. Governor Fubara set to address workers at May Day rally in Port Harcourt. Nigerian workers join counterparts to mark Workers' Day, justify 615,000 naira new minimum wage proposal. Federal government announces pay rise for holder warns of severe fuel scarcity in Rivers State. Nigerian Communications Commission jam in talks for specialized SIM card for students. In business, CBN promises to ensure reduction of inflation rate. In entertainment, Blue Ivy, daughter of singer Beyonce and Jay-Z, joins voice cast of upcoming Lion King prequel. In sports, striker Marcus Rashford to remain at Manchester United despite interest from Paris Saint-Germain. On the foreign scene, 19 people die, over 50 others injured after a slice of mountainside highway collapsed in China. Details in the 12 noon news. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0808 721 7215 0808 721 7215. My name is Jude Omamegbe. Thank you for listening and good morning.
Stay updated with all the current news.
From policies to politics, economies, local and foreign news, we keep you updated on all the happenings. Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Allow
in the US. Now, however, the prohibition of songs was typically due to their subject matter rather than the explicit language. In those days, you couldn't necessarily talk about having sex, or you couldn't talk, the government directly, right? That was in the 50s. But fast forward 2021 or 19 or 2017. Remember the very controversial This Is America song that thousand Joe had This Is Nigeria. Remember that, right? He made a cover of that particular song. In those never have been printed. No. But now people talk about freedom of expression. The artist that is creative has a right, has a way to express those things, which is what people would pay good amounts of money to go to a museum and watch or look at paintings from their favorite painters. It's the same reason why nearly 4 decades, if not more decades, Vincent for he expressed things in a way that they could not. It wasn't because you were not or not. Those of you who are listening to me, who have been fortunate to travel to Rome, and maybe if you visit the Sistine Chapel or the St. Peter's Square, the Basilica, right? You will know that there are some churches in and around parts of Europe, right, that have murals that are in the nude. Yes, they are naked. Greek pantheon, the mythology, almost every single sculptor has some form of nudity or partial nudity. But the artists made them, and over the centuries, humanity has consumed those sculptures, those paintings. They've made billions and billions and billions of nairas and kobolds and dollars and cents. So there is a role for censorship boards, prohibition and whatnot. I think that is fair enough. But is it fair to not tell the artist, we want you to promote more content for children, more family content? The person says, Oga, madam, I like to talk about love. I'm not a man of ABC. I like to talk about women. I like to talk about women's bodies. It's my calling in life. Do you begrudge them? Must they make content for everybody, or they, like I said, make art for art's sake?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk. With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
017-923-0003, 017-923-0007. Once again, 017-923-0003, 0817923-0007. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. We're talking about entertainers and their expectations. Do you expect all entertainers, all creators, whether they're writers, painters, musicians, dancers, spoken word artists, poets, to make content that everyone can consume? John, good morning, please. Good morning, John.
Allow us to enjoy every movie within the people of let them go ahead to and I love that our ladies. The music you play in your if it contains F words, the way you use that, they don't have it. I'm correct.
Clean.
So let's run the restriction. I'm taking a chance to be for them. And most of these we have a manuscript. You can go get something.
Let me go from thoughts, some views this morning for the benefit of this discourse. If you ask your child who is your role model, and they did not mention your name as their father or their mother, you are a failure. You are a father that should not be recognized in the society where his fellow mates are sitting down. Because you have lost your tentacles. You have lost your responsibility, and you sold your integrity for peanuts. Not to be guiding your children, but say you are hustling for money while you are going about different hotels, sleeping around and misbehaving. Any man that his child cannot recognize him as his role model, number one, you are in trouble. That is why all these things, right? Who is your role model? You are mentioning one that is dancing nude. I want to be back to memory. In 1967, a particular was wrong. What is the question for North Africa? Are you not? And I want to ask you, it's a one song that most of the churches were not clean was not because you preach more for the is also I want to take you up to speed. In every time creating sword of the one but as our fathers and mothers and enjoy themselves and we go back. Children will see you and find you. Oh. Sorry for anybody. Present society so these put the saturation of us.
Okay. Oh, actually, good society is wild that people are conscious and should not be just doing anything they want.
Agree 110%.
Interesting, Andy.
See, there are two things involved here. If you're preaching the right thing, if you're not passing right, your passage.
But what is the right message?
The right message, when a child listens to it, not even an adult, the child grows with it.
But it's not every message that a child should listen to.
Andrew, I am not doubting that. But what I'm saying in essence, the children in the past, how wise were they? And the children of these days, and how wise are they? See, we tend to forget some certain things because we feel we want to create content, because we want to make money, because we want people to know that we are versatile. But we leave a particular message that what you are doing today, let me draw you back. Some few weeks ago, Tiwa Savage in the past had a nude, and she was like, asked a question, how she would have felt. She said the only problem she had, that one day she felt that the child, the son, can view it. And when he views it, how will he look at the mom? She went to the extra mile to make sure that she deletes that, which we know that he has deleted it through whatever means he had done. Why did she go to do that? Because she loved her son. So what we are saying in essence is, we are not saying you should not make your money. We are not saying you should not create your content. But knowing that the times we are in, how children are wiser than you, how phones are just in a slap of your fingers, the children gets it. And the content of what we are talking about, we they create good intent into them for them to be able to put that into their children. These are the problems we have.
Yeah, but is it the creators, the creative's responsibility, or you, the parent, to guide the child?
The creator. Why would the creator not allow the children to watch it or have access to it? So for you to make sure that your children doesn't go ahead to look at that, that means it is bad. For we to
Andy, does it mean it is bad? There's a difference between something being bad and being inappropriate. Take, for example, it is not a bad idea to teach your son how to drive, but it's a very dangerous idea to teach your 4-year-old son how to drive. Those are two different things.
Andrew.
Jude, this is Jude.
Jude. What you are saying now is different from driving. What we are talking about is immorality. We are talking about immorality. That is what we are saying. But for me, creating a content, and I would not want my children to watch it, please mind how you create the content. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Andy. All right, so the conversation's getting more intriguing right now. Lots of feisty comments on social media. Let's get to social media, I beg your pardon, this morning on WhatsApp 0090306 Good morning, Jude. Creatives like artists should consider making their content more family friendly to reach a broader audience and have a positive impact. However, this must be balanced with staying true to their artistic vision and values. Compromising authenticity and honesty may not be worth the trade-off. A balance can be struck by creating accessible content or offering alternative versions, warnings for mature themes. Ultimately, it depends on the artist's goals, values, and target audience. Now, if the content isn't for your age, no watch them. The instructions are simple. Divine favor from Rumi Bekwe. All right, thank you very much. Clement says, good morning, Jude. In marketing, we are taught to identify our customers, audience, and sell our items or services, art, skills, etc. to them. If PG-18 content is seen by underage, blame the regulators and the government system. If the regulators are not working, there are tools that the parents can use to control what their underage children can consume. But judo, I beg, suggest how parents who are driving to Rumbokoro with their children whilst loudspeakers are shouting triple X words. Aha! My memory is not so bad. 2018 or 19, right? When I started working here 2017, end of 2017, right into 2018. 2018 or 19 now, one of those days when I did the Hard Facts show, I remember a caller, JJ. Yes, I remember he called and he was complaining bitterly of how he once walked through Rumokoro with his children, and then they were hearing all sorts of explicit things. If you know, say, you get this kind of disease, crocro there, this thing there, your village people, they pursue you, come and drink this medicine. And he kept on wondering, how would he explain to you? Because he couldn't close their ears. And true to, once again, what children cannot do does not exist. True to form, a few weeks later, he also called and said, my pikin asked me this question when I tell him that day. My memory isn't bad. I remember that conversation very clearly. So, the creatives in this place, they've made that advert for that company. Is it explicit? Is it inappropriate for all audiences? Many of you will agree so. But does that mean that person should not make that content? Herein lies the question. Back to you now. 017-923-0002, 017-923-0007, 0817923-0002, 0817923-0007. At Nigeriainfo on Facebook and on X. At Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH. All right, that's where you'll find us. Now, WhatsApp is 0809-030-6416. Good morning, Jude. Calvin here. I don't believe the creatives should make any content for the generality of the public. There's a reason why we all have different skill sets. There's a reason why some people are great at acting action movies, and while some, whether you like it or not, we act X-rated material. It is what they are good at. It is the simplicity of life. You go where your strengths lie. Anybody who does not like it has two options. Option A, you close your eyes or your ears, or option B, you don't buy the material. End of story. If you complain that your child is listening to somebody's music, that the music is affecting the child, you tell the child, go and listen to something else. Create an option. Don't tell the artist not to make his art. In fact, Kelvin's statement reminds me of a debate that happened in the US when the video game Mortal Kombat was made. I'll tell you about that shortly after we speak to Clement on NTA Road. Clement, good morning to you, please.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Jude.
Good morning.
Interesting conversation. First of all, I'm sure you are aware that TikTok is currently being debated to be banned in Europe.
TikTok, yes. It's been on for about 3 years now.
Okay. And that is where a government is working and controlling their system or whatever it is that they do on the internet, what people should see in their country. Now, I use that as an example. Okay, so let's come back home to Nigeria. Like a fellow said, that in Nigeria, we have sponsored agencies that tells us, or that help creating the kind of content that we can consume in this part of the world, or that you can create in this part of the world. We have those agencies. Now the question is, are these agencies working? The next time I think the word is it has to do with defamatory comment or content. That is where you see lawsuits to be flying left, right, and center. Now, if they channel defamatory content, however they put it, they try the strength that they use for defamatory content into censored content, I believe will see results. You know, and I'm not going to fault parents. Parents can only work with the system or with the structure that government has put in place.
Okay.
If the government has said this instrument is what we are permitted to use. For instance, there are TV stations that in fact there are movies that you see PG stuff, PG that.
Yes.
However, at home, parents don't even know what PG is. Not to talk of having a child within your space, watching what your eye should see, and then the child is seeing what you're supposed to see, because the parents do not understand. So if government can come into this and say, okay, this is what it is, the one we hear at the public in state, for example, that you talk about, who will control that one? The person that controls the one that they make at garrison should control what we hear at another public place. So if they can control that garrison then they should be able to control any other one, including research. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well said. Thank you very much, Clement. Good to have heard from you this morning. Now, more messages. And like I said, it's becoming quite the feisty conversation. Now, I believe that indecent content, including but not limited to hate speech, graphic violence, sexual exploitation, discrimination, harassment, has no place in our interactions or society. Such content can cause harm, perpetuate negative stereotypes, and contribute to a culture of disrespect and hostility. It is essential to recognize the impact of our words and actions online and offline, and strive to create a culture of empathy, inclusivity, and respect. Queen Surah, good morning, Jude. It's a wonderful message. Thank you very much for sending. I like to read messages like this, constructive, without sounding offensive to anybody. All right. Now, this one here reads, this is from Wellex. Wellex says, good morning, Jude. I beg to disagree with Zion that any man whose child does not recognize him as a role model is in trouble. It is not every child that is privileged to have his father a governor, a president, a senator, a minister, etc. Some fathers are carpenters, truck pushers, drivers, etc. But they are working hard to bring up their children in a strong footing with good education. Your role model is somebody that you would want to grow up to be like. Do you expect any child from this category to say that their father is their role model and will want to grow up to be a truck driver? Wellex is saying. Well, Wellex, it may just depend on what type of truck driver the person is. If the person is a truck driver in the US where they make upwards of about $50,000 a year, dollars by the way, who wouldn't want to have that kind of gig, knowing that, daddy has, disposable income of close to $100,000, whenever he does the shift. What am I saying? Now, Both the content creators, the regulatory agencies should consider the young ones. That's why we must respect Sabinus for his content. His contents are generally appealing to all. It cuts across all demographic. Dude, as I entered the minibus last week, I was seated at the back and the lady entered with her 7-year-old daughter. The woman logged into Facebook and the first video content that popped up was a girl shaking her breast and backside almost naked. The little girl saw the video and the mom quickly blanked the screen. A while later, the girl asked her mom, "Mommy, what is that girl doing? Is she mad?" The mother couldn't explain. Content creators must understand that we have smart children these days. Content influences them. Charles Cotterill. I feel we should learn from God. If the Heavenly Father created heaven and hell and gave us option to choose, I think content creation is in the same boat. Well. Once again, you have brought your varying arguments to the center table. And I thank you. Well, it will be of good stead in your case to do what is most appropriate. But, like they say in Latin, ars gratia artis. Arts for the art's sake. The content creator, the actor, the musician, the dancer will dance and his audience will come. The question is, are you that audience? The news in a minute. My name is Jude. Thank you. Good morning.